Schools are one of the most important levers for reducing social inequality. Education is one of the most important tools that you have to level the playing field. We think about public schooling as probably the most important social institution that we have to eliminate social inequality. UEI's mission is to create knowledge to produce reliably excellent urban schooling.
The goal of UEI is to combine practice and research around improving education and to fundamentally influence education for the better for students across the nation.
Across 4 units, UEI conducts rigorous applied research, trains urban school teachers and leaders, operates multiple school campuses across the south side of Chicago, and creates and disseminates research-based practice-proven tools across the United States.
UEI is probably the only opportunity for research and practice to come together this close in the United States. You rarely get an opportunity to be a practitioner and also be disconnected to the research component.
In education, you have this incredibly complex ecosystem. You have researchers working on creating new knowledge. You have practitioners on the ground, and there are very few places in the country that bring all of those different pieces together under one roof. We are trying to do something incredibly ambitious here, which is to close the gaps in urban education.
The knowledge gap is the difference between what people think is important for schools and for students' education and what actually matters for their educational outcomes. We don't have all the answers, but we're constantly learning that a lot of the assumptions that people have, they really don't hold up when you actually start to test them. We try to do research that's going to inform school improvement, and it serves as a basis for all of the other work at UEI so that we know what it is that actually matters for students' outcomes, what it is that we can do to improve schools.
A lot of the research helps address the knowledge gap, but that alone in the hands of a lot of practitioners and a lot of people in general can only do part of it, and there's really a missing piece, and that's the support. We've been focusing on deepening the work that we're able to do to support practitioners, to understand the research, to think strategically about utilizing the data, and then turn that into strategic actions in their building.
We have a lot of conversations with our teachers, with our leaders, around what do you believe? What do you believe about the students that you serve? When you create a culture that is rooted in a belief system where the teachers, the families, and the leadership teams reflect that they believe in the capacity of students to do and be great, the students own it. They're empowered, they feel it.
The preparation gap in schooling has to do with this idea that teachers are very passionate about the work that we do, but there's a lack of support and a lack of preparation. We're working to narrow that gap by making sure teachers are prepared. A lot of teachers tend to leave the field within the first 3 years of teaching. A lot of that is due to lack of support once they're in the classroom. And so in our program, once our students graduate, we really want to make sure they have the support that they need to stay in the field.
The attainment gap is the gap between students' college aspirations and their attainment. A big part of what we're trying to do is to bust myths, pervasive myths out there about what it takes to make it to and through high school and college. If we can help schools and students and teachers refocus on what does matter, we can help change outcomes for students and begin to close the attainment gap.
The stakes could be no higher. It's a fundamental right for a child to have a quality education and a quality opportunity. So I think that we are trying our best to make that a possibility for as many kids as possible.